My old-fashioned sandwich loaf is relaxingly simple to make. First, you need 500 grams of strong white bread flour. So that's my flour, and on top of that, I want a couple of teaspoons of fine sea salt, just regular salt, and 2 teaspoons of caster sugar. And now, the yeast. You can use a sachet of instant yeast, and that's 2.5 teaspoons, or I should actually be weighing it, about 7 grams. So that's the dry ingredients, and now the wet. Now, I adapted this recipe from a fabulous Dan Leppard one, which uses sour cream. And I was in emergencies, and I had some spoilt milk, which works wonderfully. 125 mils. And to that, I want 150 mils of cold water and 100 mils of boiling water from a kettle, or recently boiled. And 45 grams, about 3 tablespoons of soft, unsalted butter. I add the butter to make up for the fat of sour cream, and it's the fat that makes this loaf so lusciously soft. You can use anything to stir this together. I like a Danish dough whisk. So the wet ingredients into the dry, just stirring until I've got a rough ball of dough, which it will do any second now. Look. And that's all that needs doing at the moment. I mean, not that this is exactly a strenuous activity throughout. So I'm going to cover it and let it have a nice rest for 10 minutes. And after this time, the dough and I are ready to move on to the next stage. I am creating a kneading surface, just using some vegetable oil. Just smoothing it out. Ah, every bit of this recipe is a sensory delight. I should say that I haven't actually worn this shower cap. It's just a very useful way of covering dough, especially if you make bread a lot. This has had its 10 minutes, and now, I wish it were going to be longer, it has 10 seconds of kneading. You can knead any way you want. It's kind of personal. I like to push away with the heel of my hand and bring back with my fingers, really. And it's so wonderful. I can't bear it that I'm only meant to do it for 10 seconds. Right, it's already a bit smoother, can you see? And this goes back in the bowl for 10 minutes, and then I repeat the 10-second kneading at 10-minute intervals twice. After the third knead, I put the now smooth dough back in the bowl for an hour until it's at least doubled in size. Then I pat it out into a puffy mattress about 2 centimetres thick and roll it into a scroll, which I tenderly place seam side down in a lined and buttered 2-pound loaf tin, where I leave it for another hour. Then I dust with flour and bake it for 45 minutes in a 200 degrees Celsius oven, or 180 if using the fan, until cooked through with a golden crust. This sandwich turns out to be food for the gods, and I'm just that little bit happier when I have figs, Parma ham and Brie in the house. First, the bread. I want to cut it generously, but not so thick that it stops the cheese from melting in the middle. And now, I do realise that many French people would think it's a crime to make a toasted sandwich with brie, but really they just have to have one bite to forgive everything. Good thick spreading. I know it's not done to take the nose off the cheese, but it's gone now. Ready for my layering up. Bit of pepper, bit of white pepper, I feel. A plumptious black fig. I'm going to take end off. Just cut it into rounds. And that goes on one piece of brie spread bread. One for me. Another one for me. It's all for me, frankly. And some Parma ham. It's quite Italianate, the pig and ham, of course. I suppose the brie is the imposter, but it works so well. And that's all that matters. Pink as a kitten's tongue. Now, I know I said it was a toasted sandwich, but in fact, I'm frying it in butter. Just a bit of butter. And a smaller bit of oil to stop the butter from burning. So while that's melting, I'm going to squidge my sandwich together. Very enjoyable. The pan's ready, my sandwich is ready, I am more than ready. So I'm going to lower it gently into the pan. And I have a special implement for this that I bought in America a few years back. I can press down. The idea is that the bread is golden and crisp on the outside, and in the middle, the cheese is warm and oozy, the ham tender, and the fig juicy. I'm gonna help this turn. Just do the same on the other side, but I need a teeny bit more butter. Fair's fair. Got it for one side. And a pinprick of oil. Now my patting is slightly impatient. So that's cooked perfectly. So out it comes. Back on the board. I'm going to cut it in half, so... I need to be alone with my sandwich now. Any morning that starts off with my tomato and fried bread hash is a good one, as far as I'm concerned. I've got a couple of slices cut from a bloomer here, which I am now just cutting into chunky cubes. I've got some olive oil in here. I mean, just regular olive oil, not extra virgin. I'm going to turn the bread in the pan a bit because what I want is for the cubes to become golden all over. Oh, and they will be so wonderful and resoundingly crunchy when they're done. How long the cubes of bread take to get golden will depend really on how fresh or stale the bread is. Either way, it's fine. I'll let them fall on a bit of kitchen towel. I'm going to leave the pan off the heat while I chop a banana shallot, my secret weapon, in the kitchen. Aiming for fine half moons, but knife skills I don't possess, so some will be fine, some a bit chunky. In they go. I'm going to sprinkle some salt over the shallots. I do this whenever I fry onions or shallots when I don't want them to burn at all, because the salt makes the onions give out a little bit of water. I want them soft and golden, even a bit caramelised in places, but not burnt. Oh. And while those cook, I'm going to chop up a few tomatoes. When I was at university, fried bread with tin tomatoes was the Friday special in the college canteen. And while I love a fried slice, won't hear a word against it, I've always been a bit troubled by the pairing with tin tomatoes. So I go for fresh ones instead. And I completely forgot the garlic. How could I? Because I want the oomph from some minced garlic. So the shallots are soft and golden in places. Time for the tomatoes. They spit a bit because of the liquid, but that's fine. So, pepper, good grinding. Worcester sauce, a must. And I'm going to snip in some chives using my sewing scissors. Everything looks ready there. More than ready. And tumble these bronze and crisp cubes in. Just tossing it together so that everything is combined. And, oh, I can hear how good this is going to be. So now, ready to plate up. With slightly frenzied haste. Utterly understandable under the circs. Want every bit. And a final sprinkling of chives. I mean, this is really excellent when you need to absorb excess alcohol. Obviously not the case now, which makes me realise why they had it in the college canteen. There are three words, such important words, that when I hear them, my pulse quickens and my heart gladdens. And they are, of course, fried chicken sandwich. Such a wonderful thing. And the chicken is only one part of the equation, because when it comes to sandwiches, the condiment is queen. So where should I start? It has to be gherkins, I think. I couldn't do without gherkins. I know it's very personal how you how you make a sandwich. This is my way. Now, I'm going to cut them lengthways into very thin tongues so I get that whisper of acidity equally distributed in every bite. And kimchi. Now, this is a late addition, really, to my chicken sandwich. Kimchi is fermented cabbage. It's like Korean sauerkraut, in a manner of speaking. And what this brings is both added crunch, but also a sort of funky sourness that becomes absolutely addictive. But not just acidity needed, because what we also need, I always need, is heat. And for this, I want some smoked hot paprika. And as ever, I'm back for that Chinese condiment of condiments, crispy chili oil. Gonna park the condiments just for a moment. Got a chicken to fry. Well, I don't have a chicken to fry. I've got a chicken thigh to fry. And that's what makes this so kind of doable. Well, deep frying is never relaxing, but I like that bit of frisson of fear. But one chicken thigh is very easy to do. The first thing I'm going to do is make a marinade for the chicken. I'm using kefir, I think it's meant to be kefir, which is sort of cultured milk. You can use buttermilk or plain yoghurt. And into that goes a fat clove of garlic. I want this to have a bit of punch. Right, my jailer's spoons. First, salt, always important. Now the hot smoked paprika, which really is smoky. Bit of fireside warmth. Maybe a bit more than warmth. Some Dijon. Beautiful amber maple syrup, teeny bit. And a bit of lemon. I mean, the kefir is quite tangy anyway, but I love adding a bit more lemon. It's all ready for the chicken. I use a skinless boned chicken thigh, which is just perfect for one person, and it fries quickly because it sort of opens out a bit, as you can almost see at this stage. And obviously, before the chicken goes in the oil, it does have to have a wonderful crunchy coating, and that comes simply from flour. Hot smoked paprika again. And some salt. There is quite a lot of flour, but I want a very, very crunchy coating. There we are, my little chickadee. What makes this chicken so crunchy on the outside is getting a good, shaggy coating of flour, and that means double dredging. I'm trying to be patient. I'm getting hungrier. Every last bit. And I think we are ready to fry. That's the right noise. So I reckon it'll need about 3 minutes aside at 180. This is just about as low stress as deep frying ever can be. One pan, one chicken thigh. Easy. Look at this beauty. Look at it, so golden and brown. And that wonderful craggy carapace. That's what's going to give me crunch. I'm going to let it stand for a bit on the kitchen paper because I have learnt the hard way. I nearly always burn my mouth, and that just ruins everything. I love the building of a sandwich. First layer has to be mayo. This is garlic mayo, and in it, the crispy chili oil. And a teeny bit of honey. It just balances it. Slather City. Iceberg has to be. When you want crunch, you want iceberg. So, on top of the iceberg, the chicken. All that talk about my gherkin earlier, but I haven't sliced it yet. And the kimchi. Slight ceremonial hush has fallen over me. It's partly just the anticipation of biting into this. And I'm never without my pink pickled onions. Lovely and mild and beautiful. Okay, roof on. I'm going in. Ah, that sound, you see? No, that's going to be good. It's hot, but not too hot, I think. Mmm. Mmm. Bye. This is so delicious. I'm fully aware that avocado toast isn't a recipe, but it's part of the fabric of my life. I'm ready to eat it no matter what the time of day, but I have to say, it comes in particularly handy for breakfast on those days when you fear that lunch may be later than you'd like. I like Hass avocados, not least because it's easiest with these to tell whether they're ripe or not because the dark green skin, that sort of crocodile skin, goes a purpley black. This is one of my favourite bits. The sound I get when I scrape that last bit of avocado. I love that buttery green flesh in the inside and that slightly brighter green by the skin. If I'm eating this at supper, I like the heady aniseed flavour of coriander, but at other times of day, I like its more delicate cousin, dill. I think part of the point of avocado is that smoothie, rich blandness, but I need salt with that. Just as important for me, I always have to have a squeeze of lime. I know it's breakfast, but let's put a bit of fire in the engine. Some dried chili flakes. And my latest development in avocado toast experimentation, some ginger for extra pep. This is my favoured method, peeling ginger, just with the tip of a teaspoon. And a little sedentary grating. Don't mind me while I mash. My toast of choice is ready and waiting. I can pile this on. I'm all about the pink and green at the moment, and I have some breakfast radishes to crown my avocado toast with. It just is never a bad thing to start the day with something so beautiful. I make French toast so often. I make cinnamon French toast, I make orange French toast, I make French toast with plums, but up till recently, all my variations on a theme have been sweet, and I really felt the need for a savoury version. And my Parmesan French toast is so comforting when I get back late at night, having unaccountably missed my dinner, but it really makes the perfect weekend breakfast. I need just a handful of ingredients for this. And this being Parmesan French toast, that's the next ingredient. Very finely grated so that the bread can absorb it. I want a bit of heat. Paprika gives me sweet heat. Sometimes I need a bit more fire, and then I go for the cayenne. And this brings its glorious colour as well. And I want tang first from some Worcester sauce, and then from some Dijon. And the mustard gives a much more intense savouriness. And I need this to be a bit runnier so that it's easier for the bread to absorb. That means a little bit of milk. I'm going to whisk it together. I like to use sourdough bread for this, or anything that's got a bit of bite to it. But if you're using normal bread, then I'd advise you to let it stale just a little. And then these slices need to bathe in this sunny mixture just until they're soaked through and soft, but not falling to pieces. These are ready to be turned now, and they can drink up the rest of the eggy mixture in the dish. Just want to spoon over the last little bit of this glorious golden mixture. Am I ready to get frying? I want butter. I certainly want butter, but I want a bit of oil as well, just to stop it burning. That's bubbling away cheerfully, so I will lower in the Parmesan soaked bread. I favour a pair of implements when cooking. Let's see if it's ready to turn. Yes, it is. And while they cook on this side, I'm going to get my plate. Not that I'm impatient or anything. As you can see, this is also gratifyingly simple to make. And I could happily eat it any time of the day.